How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk. Cosplay Con Talk is basically a podcast series where we discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. Tonight, we are doing another segment on Get to Know That Cosplayer. And tonight's featured cosplay guest is Britt Cosplays. How are you doing tonight, Britt?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing pretty well. So again, thank you for coming on to Cosplay Con Talk to just not only talk about the cosplays you've done, but your convention experience as well.
Of course, I am very honored.
So to begin, how long have you been cosplaying for?
I've been cosplaying for almost 3 years. My 2 year anniversary was January of this year when Wizard World rolled around, but we didn't go obviously because of COVID. So,
Yeah, COVID kind of, but from what I've seen, a lot of cons are coming back, with restrictions, of course.
yes, they are. And I think that is great that we can still, go to cons, but we can also be safe about it as well.
This is very true. So, with you almost cosplaying for 2 years, back when you started this almost 3 years ago, what was your very first cosplay that you remember?
So that would be third grade. I dressed up as Minnie Mouse for Halloween one year, and it was a hand-down costume from one of my older cousins. And I just remember being like, why can't I just wear this all the time? Because it really made me want to just wear it all the time because it was super comfortable. And I was pretty much a tomboy growing up, so that costume kind of was just like, oh, dresses could be cool, kind of thing. So, and that just sparked theater from there. So I went from that to theater all through middle school and high school. And once I got to college and there was really no theater outlet, it kind of made me sad. And then my cousin was like, yo, do you want to cosplay with me? And I'm like, what the heck is cosplay? You know? And she's like, hey, it's basically like Halloween all the freaking time. And I'm like, sign me up. I'm down. So yeah, that's kind of what started it.
Nice. And for your first official cosplay, when you started getting into cosplay later down the road, do you remember what that was?
It was Wizard World in January of 2018. My cousin had an extra ticket and she's like, hey, do you want to go with us? And I was like, sure. So we made Ravenclaw Belle. She helped me make a hood, and I had an iron-on Ravenclaw patch that had been sitting in my closet for a while. And we turned my old graduation gown into a Ravenclaw house gown thing. And I wore a black skirt with white knee-high socks and black slip-ons. And then I had this sweater vest that was blue, and then I wore a white button-up under it.
Nice.
So yeah, it was my very first cosplay, and it was also a closet cosplay. So I was very proud of it.
Nice. And you said your cousin helped you make that?
Yes, she did. Gosh, she just changed her Instagram name a couple months ago. But it's Vicky iPixie Cosplay, I believe is her Instagram handle now. It used to be Cosplay Princess Vic. So yeah, she really guided me and started my cosplay journey.
Well, that was nice of her. Shout out to your cousin Vicky.
Yeah, very much so.
And I've also noticed you've actually cosplayed quite a few Disney characters from what I've
I
seen on your
have.
Instagram. That seems to be like your comfort area for cosplays, which is not a bad thing.
It is very much so. Belle and Ariel are very much my cosplay characters. I have started to branch out a little bit. I am working on a prom princess series because I have so many bridesmaids dresses because my family is huge and I have a ton of girl cousins and I've been probably in about 12 weddings since I was 15. So I have all these bridesmaid dresses that are just like sitting in my closet doing nothing. So I'm reworking a few of them to work with this series that I'm working on. So I'm working on Aurora right now for that. Um,
Nice.
yeah, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm starting to branch out a little bit. But yes, Belle and Ariel are very much my comfort characters.
And there is nothing wrong with that. Before we talk more about your cosplays, let's talk about conventions. What was it
Okay,
like when you went to Wizard World? And that would be Wizard World Portland, correct?
correct.
What was
Um,
that like for your first con back in January?
it was really interesting. It was January 2018, and I was in the midst of kind of going through some rough family stuff, and I just kind of really needed an outlet and needed like a weekend away. And so my cousin graciously, thank you, Vicky, invited me to come spend the weekend with them and go to Wizard World since they had an extra ticket. And so we went. So Friday, oh gosh, I don't think we dressed up Friday. We just went and like hung out because that's kind of like the day everybody's still setting up and there's really not much there. And then Saturday was our big Hogwarts day. So we did a Hogwarts Disney mashup, which is what I did Ravenclaw Belle for. And then Vicky was Anna, and then her husband Sean was Kristoff. And we had a small little group of Disney Prince mashup Hogwarts houses. So that was a ton of fun. And it was really interesting just like walking around the convention center in downtown Portland because I hadn't really been there other than for like some work stuff with my dad when he used to work in oh gosh, what would you call that? Anyway, he used to work in the industry business and he would go to like conventions and stuff occasionally at the convention center. So we would kind of make like a family day out of it and, go get Burgerville and walk around downtown, while my dad was at the convention center. So it was kind of interesting seeing it set up differently with like all of the artist alley booths and all of the other vendors, and then like seeing other people dressed up in costumes that love like Disney and Marvel and all the animes, just as much as the rest of us do, was really cool. And I learned that it doesn't have to be Halloween to dress up. You can really do it whenever you want. And that's kind of like cosplay gave me a really nice outlet, to be creative and not have to spend a ton of money because you can do like thrifting, you can do closet cosplays, you can literally like find one little thing and be like, oh, hey, this will work for this person, kind of thing.
Nice. And that actually brings me to a question of mine that I'm sure a lot of people have heard on this show. What are your thoughts on thrifting, especially whether it be your first time cosplayer or you're a cosplayer on a budget, or you
Um,
just want to see what it's like to cosplay?
Honestly, thrifting is going to be your best friend because I have thrifted so much stuff for a lot of my cosplays. Like right now, I'm working on a gender bent Thor, and I literally have found almost everything from multiple different thrift stores. Like I found a red cardigan the other day. I found these really cool gold laced up combat boots, that were like I looked them up on the internet and they were normally like $70 and I paid 15 for them, So it's like thrifting is going to be your best friend. And it's literally a gold mine if you take the time to really like search the racks and dive in and just go crazy, So it'll be your best friend, especially if you're on a budget or if you want to try cosplaying for the first time, but you don't want to spend, the $200-300 for whatever you want to do.
I mean, I know a lot of people wouldn't want to spend that much because that can. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with spending that much, but if
Oh,
you're on a
there's
but if you're on a
definitely nothing.
if you're on a budget, it kind of you won't get to like spend stuff when you go to a con. You're basic, because I know there are some people
Exactly.
who like splurging on either the food at the con or the merch or an autograph.
Yeah, I'm very much of an artist splurger when I go to cons. Like, I love following like my favorite artists on Instagram, and then I try to at least like support their Etsy's, or some of them have Patreons, or that kind of thing, because with the last couple of years and not being able to do cons, a lot of them have struggled with their businesses. So I'm very much of a, oh hey, let's go buy some art so then I can put it up in my house. And it's really cool because then you have a unique piece of nerdy artwork that doesn't really look that nerdy. Um, and it's really pretty, but it's still nerdy. So
Oh yeah,
it's
no.
like, it's not like over the top nerdy, but it's like just enough that it's like, oh, this is very tasteful nerdy kind of thing. Um, And yeah, there's definitely nothing wrong with spending money on your cosplays, because like a lot of like the armor builds and stuff that are fantastic that I see all over Instagram, those take time and a lot of money and talent that I don't have. So props to those guys that can do all of that amazing stuff.
Oh no, I wholeheartedly agree on that. It's it seems like a lot of work when they do that. Now, aside from Wizard World, what other cons have you gone to?
Rose City Comic Con 2018 was the last con I went to. It was my birthday present from my cousin Vicky and her husband. My birthday's in May and it's not till September, but they bought, the early bird tickets and surprised me that year. My husband and I could also go. And so that was really nice of them to do that for me because I got the cosplay bug. And so Vicky kind of wanted to keep pushing me, like, hey, you're inspired now. Come to Rose City with us now that you've kind of got bit at Wizard World kind of thing. So we did that. So Friday, again, we didn't really dress up because, or did we dress up Friday? I think Friday was our Sailor Day, actually. I don't remember honestly now. It's been so long, but we did Miss Christina Page on Instagram. I believe that's her handle. She's an artist. She did a really cool Disney Sailor Moon mashup that I got to be a part of, and Vicky kindly made both of our costumes for that. So I got to be Sailor Sally, and she was Sailor Anastasia, and then her husband Sean was Jack Skellington slash, oh gosh, I think his name is Tudor from Sailor Moon, the guy in the suit with the face mask.
Oh, tuxedo mask.
Thank you. It's been a while since I've watched Sailor Moon, so I was just like, oh gosh, I'm gonna blank on this guy's name. But yeah, and then we had a few other cosplayers that did other um, mashups of Disney and Sailor Moons that I have pictures of that I can totally send your way. That was
Nice.
pretty cool. And then I believe that was Friday. And then, yes, that was Friday because Saturday, they did, we did our Jedi Ariel, and then my husband was a gray Jedi. And that was really fun. And I don't remember what Vicky and Sean did. I think that was Stranger Things Day for them, but they had a couple other she was in a couple other groups also on Saturday, so she changed like 3 times. So I don't remember all what she wore on Saturday, other than I do remember she appeared as Robin and they did the Sailor Scoops, Steve and Robin on Saturday, I believe. And then Sunday was our Hercules Day, where my cousin Vicky was Meg, and um, her husband was Hercules, and then my husband and I were Earth Mom and Dad. And then our friend Justine, which is Queen of the Lost Boys, was her Scoop Steve that day. So
Nice.
it was a lot of fun.
Oh, it sounds like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, onto your cosplays. What would you say the most hardest cosplay is that you've ever done?
Um, for like myself, like making myself, I would have to say, um, just trying to find the correct like material to make the toga for Hercules Earth Mom. That was really frustrating because like Vicky did help me make that as well. And it was just like, so we ended up making it out of curtains from Goodwill that we found. We found these really pretty brown satin curtains. And I mean, just, because she's the sewing wizard. So just like trying to stand still and have her like measure me and then like put things together and then like sew it and then put it back on and then taking it off kind of thing. That was really actually really hard for me because I don't sit still very well because of my ADD. And so just like trying to stand there when she's constantly, like pulling it off and pulling it on and then like redoing measurements was a little hard, but we did it and it looked good. So, yeah.
Sounds like it was a lot, though. But like you said, it sounds like it was worth it in the end. And
It
from what I seen on the photo, it looked like it turned out pretty well.
it turned out amazing. Like I still can't believe we made that thing out of freaking curtains. So, I am
Wait, curtains?
Yeah, so we couldn't find material that we liked, so we bought this giant, extra long brown satin curtain at Goodwill that was just in with like, how they sell like top sheets and like random blankets and stuff. It was literally just chilling in that section, and we're like, hey, this would work. So we made it out of a curtain.
That's
So,
impressive.
yeah,
Now, onto your Rainbow Dash. I know
yes,
JL made the wig for you, which
she did.
her work is amazing. If anyone is looking to know more about her wigs, you can find her on Instagram. How long did it take JL to make your Rainbow Dash wig?
Honestly, I don't know because she had this idea for the pony group for a really long time. And so she'd already made her Pinkie Pie wig. And then when she started talking about doing a pony group, I was like, yo, Rainbow Dash is my girl. I will do her if you want to do a pony group. So I just know we'd been planning it for like, oh gosh, a little over 6 months, I think. And I think in that time frame, she made the Applejack wig and the Rainbow Dash wig in between wig orders because she was working on obviously her wig orders because that's what she does for her job. And I honestly don't know how long it took her to make them. I just know she started making them and they were done in time for our shoot when we picked a date. So,
Nice.
yeah, she worked very hard and I love that wig and I hope to eventually buy it from her someday. So, because I love Rainbow Dash and she's my girl.
Now, did that? How much did that? Oh, when you put once you put a one in your head, because that's a pretty big wig. Did that wig add any extra weight to your head?
So with all of my extra hair, I mean, I just chopped my hair and then she put those bobby pins she put wig pins in the wig and then pushed them into the pin curl so that the wig was very much centered and weight and what's the word I'm looking for? It was placed correctly on my head, so like the weight was very well distributed, and I didn't really notice it until we stopped taking pictures, and then I was getting what we call the wig migraine, where when you've been wearing a wig for a while, your head just kind of starts to ache for, you know, kind of just starts to be like, hey, this thing is heavy. Why are you still on my head kind of thing? But yeah, I don't really notice it when we're actually like doing stuff and we're out taking pictures. And I mainly just notice it like once we stop and we actually sit down, that's another thing in the cosplay world. Ooh, excuse me. As long as you don't sit down and you keep going or you take little breaks, you'll be fine. But if you sit down for long periods of time, if you're wearing like a heavy cosplay or a heavy wig, you're gonna have to like have a really good hype group to want to be able to get back up and go back out on the con floor or something, or go take pictures. So make sure you have good hype people.
Oh no, definitely. So we talked about your Sailor Sally, I
hmm
believe. How long did that take you to make, and what was it like wearing the body paint, the wig, and all that stuff?
So actually, Vicky made both our costumes for the Sailor Day. She made Sailor Sally and Sailor Anastasia, and I actually didn't wear body paint. We kind of cheated. because we didn't have enough time to get more body paint. So I bought a blue bodysuit and then we just painted my face because she wears white gloves, so I didn't really need to paint my hands. And then, so yeah, I just wore a blue bodysuit, which was very interesting for being my first bodysuit introduction. Because like once you're in the costume over it, Vicky painted my face and helped me with my makeup. The wig was actually very comfortable for my first time wearing a wig, which was very gracious of Vicky to let me borrow. She let me borrow that whole thing. All I brought to that costume were my white gloves and the boots I wore and the bodysuit. She made everything else and let me borrow her wig, and she made our sailor crowns, so that was very awesome of her. So I enjoyed being Sailor Sally because it was really cool being like a popular character that people knew. Because at con, everybody will like run up to you and get super excited to see how you did this take on this character based off art, and it's really awesome. But I think the funnest thing was walking around as Sally was all of the little kids that were like, "Oh my gosh, it's Sally." And I took so many pictures with like, I don't know, probably I want to say at least 15, maybe 10 and under kids because they were so excited to see Sally, as something else besides just Sally from like Nightmare Before Christmas. So being a recognizable character was actually really a lot of fun.
Nice. Now, I've also.
Yes, so we did Padme and Leia and Rey, and it was a ton of fun trying to find Christmas themed Star Wars sweaters. Um, so I spent probably like 3 months before Christmas trying to find my BB-8 sweater, and I finally found it like 2 weeks before our shoot. Thank you, Coles. And we had a Star Wars wedding. My husband and I did. So I already had my BB-8 earrings that I wore. My husband wore BB-8 socks, so I wore his wedding socks for that shoot. So that was nice. Thank you, husband, for letting me borrow them. And then, JL found this adorable R2D2 Christmas sweater that she wore. And then Ryan couldn't find a Christmas sweater, but she found a Star Wars t-shirt that she wore under the poofy vest. So, and it worked well, and it really balanced out, mine and JL's sweater looks, and it was a lot of fun. And I didn't even wear a wig for that shoot. We just used my hair. Ryan and JL worked their magic on my really long hair into those Ray buns that I wore all day and didn't take them out till I went home at 7 o'clock that night.
From what I've seen, I remember you telling me that when we first did this,
Hmm.
that I literally thought it was a wig.
Nope, that is all my natural hair, 100%.
How long did it take to get? Because the Ray Buns, because they definitely were accurate to her character in the movies.
I think Ryan did the first two in like 20 minutes, and then the top one was a little bit more difficult because we had to use what was left from my hair from the bottom two. And I think it took her and JL probably 30 minutes to do the top one just because my hair wasn't cooperating and did not want to stay in the cute little Ray bun. So it took a lot of bobby pins and hairspray. But they did it, and my hair looks wonderful. And I get asked all the time where I got my wig, and I'm just like, guys, that's my hair. That is my actual hair. It is not a wig.
Now, another question I ask, for those who listen and those who know what I do for this series,
Hmm.
what's that one cosplay? Because I don't think I asked this last time, the first recording we did. What's that one cosplay that you wore it once? It was kind of a one and done cosplay. Like you wore it to see what it's like, but you just never worn it since.
That I did a 1920s princess shoe, and that would probably be my flapper Elsa. I literally threw it together in about a week and a half, and while it was good for what we needed, I kind of didn't like wearing it because with Amazon and stuff and doing a rush order, I ordered my dress and It's slightly too big, which you can't really tell in the pictures, which I'm thankful for. So I would like to get that dress altered, and then I would like to get different accessories for her because like I said, it was like I had 2 weeks to throw this together. So I would like to get different gloves, definitely a different wig, um, different headpiece. I would just like to redo her all together and, actually like taking pictures as her again. So yeah, my 20s Elsa definitely needs a revamp and needs to be updated. It's another one of my comfort characters, which I mean, I know I haven't really cosplayed her much, but I love her to pieces.
And you did a 1920s version of Elsa?
I did, yes.
Yeah, we didn't. I remember when we first recorded this, you were talking how you were wanting to do like a futuristic Elsa.
Yes, I have like a modern Elsa that I'm kind of working on. So like if she was in our time period now, kind of like how she would
Oh,
dress.
a 21st century Elsa, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So like I
Nice.
have I have a few things that I've, found while thrifting that I'm like could possibly work, but I'm still trying to find you know, that one beautiful piece that'll like bring it all together before I actually do it.
Nice. Um,
Yeah.
now, what's the one cosplay that you've not done in so long that you would like to bring back for when you do plan on going back to cons or just for a photo shoot?
I would probably Ryan helped me redo my Jedi Ariel, and so it's updated, and we did some updated pictures of it after she finished it. But I would love to bring her back out and get more photos of her because like when we finished that redo of that, it was super dark. So I mean, I love these pictures, and I love the fact that Ryan helped me redo it. But we have pictures in a photo. We took pictures in a, oh gosh, I am blanking on what they're called right now. We went to a garage and took pictures like in the mall. It's like a mall parking garage. There we go. We went to a mall parking garage because it was dark and we took pictures in the parking garage. So, I would love to bring her out in the daytime and do better pictures. Like I love those pictures though because they're very sentimental to me and the fact that Ryan helped me redo it. But I would love to give her more of like a cooler Jedi background, kind of thing.
I get
So,
it. With her being
yeah.
with her being Ariel, like something like the ocean, like in front of the ocean or something.
Yes, yes. I would love to go to like the beach with my lightsaber and just like run around on rocks or something and take pictures.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that I've been adding to this series, because I'm not sure if I asked this last time when we first did this recording, any experience you'd like to share, whether it be like a cosplay horror story, something funny, something embarrassing that happened that you found funny at a con or getting ready for the con, stuff like that.
So Saturday of RCC of 2018, my aerial wig actually fell off in front of a little kid, and I'm pretty sure it traumatized her. So make sure your wigs are always tight. Make sure they're on correctly. Make sure your wig cap is set. And make sure you carry an emergency kit that has bobby pins, that has a sewing kit, that has anything that you think can go wrong with your costume. Make sure you bring it with you in that emergency kit. So if it rips or something, always bring up a backup cosplay just in case something rips or you have a wardrobe malfunction, because other than that, you're pretty much stuck in what you're wearing. So that is my advice is always bring your emergency kit and bring a backup cosplay just in case.
Thank you. Just answered my question that I asked. So like, when it comes to like con crunch, for example, I know a
Yeah.
lot of people are trying to get their cosplays finished before that con, or they do it like the night before the con. Would you recommend if they can't get their cosplay finish? Would you recommend that if they're still wanting to cosplay, would you recommend them bring in a backup cosplay just so they can still cosplay?
100%. Because like when you do con crunch and you're tired and you're overly caffeinated trying to get it done, sometimes the next day it just doesn't look how you wanted it, or if you put it on and then you get to con, you're kind of just like, I don't like this, when you get there. So I always take a backup cosplay just because, for those situations, because sometimes you don't realize that you don't want to wear this or it didn't look the way you thought it looked until you get to con. And then you don't really want to be there, because then you're kind of just like stuck in your head, like, this looks terrible. I look terrible. Everybody's going to notice, the stuff I messed up on. So, you're kind of self-conscious within yourself, even though probably nobody's going to notice the little things that you notice because they didn't make it, They're not going to be like over super critical of your cosplay. They're just going to be like, oh, hey, you're cosplaying so and so and it looks really nice. I dig it. We're like, in your head, even though they're complimenting you on it, you're like, yeah, and there's 4 hot glue stains on the back of this pant leg, kind of thing. So
I imagine you've been hit with the con crunch bug.
I have.
What cosplay was that for your con crunch?
My Jedi Ariel, when I first wore it, she was 100% a con crunch because I didn't know if my wig was gonna show up or not. So my wig literally showed up Thursday of RCC, which I was very thankful. But that whole 2 weeks before RCC, I was constantly, checking Amazon, and they were like, "Oh, we're sorry for the delay, but this has been delayed 2 days." And I'm like, "Really? Really? Where else am I gonna find a bright freaking red ass wig
That
for this
looks that looks good and will not doesn't look like your cheap Spirit
Exactly.
Halloween wig. No, I'm not dissing on
Exactly.
I'm not dissing on I'm just saying I know there are some cosplayers who want their wigs to look good and not like something you can buy for like a couple bucks at Spirit Halloween.
Exactly. But cosplay, um, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Anyways, Spirit Halloween is very good for props. So cosplay tip, there we go. That's the word I was looking for.
Good to know.
I have gotten a lot of stuff from Spirit, when they do their huge, like, we're leaving, we need to get rid of everything. So it's 75% off, you know? I've gotten a lot of props for some of my cosplays there because I'm like, where else am I gonna find some of this stuff when it's not Halloween? And then like 2 months later, I'm gonna be like, oh hey, I really wanted to do this. Oh, but now I don't have a Thor hammer, So like, I got my Thor hammer 2 years ago from a Spirit Halloween when it was like 75% off, and it's sitting in my closet waiting for me to be done with my Thor cosplay. So I mean, they're good for props. So
That's good to know.
yeah.
And you answered also my question with your story about have you ever had any other cosplay mishaps like something ripped, torn, fell off aside from your
I
aerial one?
um when we did the 19 Princess shoot, I ripped my pantyhose that I was wearing for my cosplay with Elsa, but thankfully it was in the back, so you couldn't see it in any of the pictures. So that was very nice. And then because it was, they run once you rip them, it was literally all the way down from like the back of my leg into my shoe. But I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna keep going because you can't see it because it's the back of my leg.
Now, did you hear or feel the tear?
I went to like pick something up and I totally heard them tear. And I was like, oh, perfect. Like, beautiful. Thank you.
Now on to future cosplays that you would love to do, like their cosplay, whether it be a cosplay you're slowly working on, or a character that you've always wanted to cosplay, but you haven't had the chance to cosplay them yet.
So I talked my husband into 2 cosplays because he's not really into costumes, but I talked him into doing Duchess and O'Malley. So
Nice.
I'm slowly working on those. And then also one of my other comfort Disney movies growing up, besides Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid, was The Rescuers. That is 100% one of my favorite
Oh,
movies.
so you guys would want to meet Bernard and Bianca.
Yes, I've talked him into doing that with me as
And
well.
honestly, Bernard is really simple. You know, you should get
It
yourself some
is.
get yourself some gray jeans, some black shoes, the red sweater, the jacket, and the page boy hat, and you're good to go.
And my husband literally already has a hat. He has a red sweater and he has black shoes. So like I've just been trying to find a pair of gray jeans, like gray dress pants or jeans that he could wear. And he's basically done and set. I'm just a little bit more picky when it comes to my dresses for Bianca.
I know
So
she's got many. Now, which versions are you, like the original 1980 version or the sequel that where it's Rescuers Down Under?
I would be doing the original. So like I'm doing like I have a white wig already with some mouse ears that I've made out of felt. I have these really pretty white heels that I want to wear. They're like cute little kitten heels. And then I have a purple like fuzzy shawl
Nice.
with a purple beret already. Um,
Nice.
so I'm literally just trying to figure out how to make tails so they don't look weird. And then I'm trying to find a white dress that I want to wear that I can also reuse for something else later on down the road. So,
Nice. Make sure you guys have a Seagull prop with you.
oh yes, I've been looking for stuffed seagulls for a while. I haven't found any that I like, so I might make one. We'll see.
All you just need is the aviator hat and everything, and you're good to go.
Exactly, 100%.
That's, I mean,
So,
I haven't really seen, I mean, I've seen people cosplay as the villain, but I've never seen anyone specifically cosplay as the main protagonists.
yeah, so I'm really excited that he agreed to do this with me because he's not super into cosplaying, but he'll eventually, give in if I like ask him and then I'll leave it alone for a little bit and then I'll ask him again and then he'll be like, "Okay, fine. I'll do it." Kind of thing.
Pester him enough, he'll agree.
Yes, but I do it very strategically.
Ah, that's clever. Well, it's also
Yes.
nice that he also supports you of your cosplay hobby and everything, you know.
He does. I mean, he gets a little frustrated sometimes when, like I'll come home from like Dollar Tree or Target because, Target has that
It's
little
like
section when
it's
you
like
first
look what
walk
I
in the
brought home with
store.
me.
Yes. And he'll be like, more. And he's like, "What are you using this stuffed snowman for?" Or he'll be like, "What's with the greenery?" You know? And I'm like, "It's going into the cosplay bin." And he's like, "Well, what are you using it for?" And I'm like, "I don't know yet. It was on sale."
Oh
So
man.
I have like two bins of just like cosplay stuff that I've bought that's like, random little things. And I'm like, "Oh, I'll figure out something to use this." Like I have fake fruit, in my cosplay bin. I have flowers, I've got greenery, I've got, like a couple stuffed animals, and it's all like, "What are you using this for?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'll figure something out eventually."
I mean, if you ever cosplay as Snow White, you can use like a fake apple and paint that the black poison
Oh,
skull
yes, that
around the
is
apple.
true. That is very true.
Or if you decide to cosplay is, the witch from the movie.
Yes, that is very true. I have a chameleon stuffed animal that I'm like, if I ever want to do punsy, I could have, my little chameleon buddy,
That's gonna be
Pascal.
that's gonna be a long wig.
I would probably do the short wig from the end of the movie where she
Or
has her
or
short.
or her brown hair. Okay,
Yes, I'd
nice.
probably do her brown hair more than I would do her long wig because
So Rapunzel is another future cosplay.
I'll probably at some point. I mean,
Nice.
not right away because I'm still working on, like I said, I'm still working on Thor and my modern Elsa, and then Duchess and O'Malley and Bianca and Bernard,
All that.
and I'm working on Anastasia right now as well. I'm working on her blue dress for when she meets Gramir.
Which, if you now think about it, she's technically a Disney princess since Fox is
She
on Buddy's Day.
is she is technically a Disney princess now, y'all.
um,
And then the most recent one I've started is I found a really pretty Renaissance-based dress thing that I might turn into Odette at some point.
who is she from again?
The Swan Princess.
Oh wow! Oh wow, man, that's definitely that'd be a pretty cool thing to see. That's like going way back. I don't think I've seen many of hers.
Yeah, so she's very underrated, I feel like. I feel like a lot of people don't realize like how cool she is. And so I'm like, when I saw this base at Goodwill, I was like, it's white. I could just buy some green ribbon and get a blonde wig, and I would have an Odette cosplay.
Pretty much.
So I'm
Um,
just like, I'm gonna buy you.
now, getting down to the nitty gritty of this, real quick before we end this, any last minute advice you would like to give for first time cosplayers or for first time con goers or
Uh,
those who are thinking about getting into this hobby?
Thrifting's gonna be your best friend. Make sure you have a very supportive hype group. Um, don't feel bad if, your first cosplay doesn't turn out the way you want it to. Just keep working at it and eventually you know, you'll get there. So just don't put too much pressure on yourself and just remember that you're supposed to be having fun. And if you're not having fun, then there's no point in cosplaying. It's not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be fun and you're supposed to be able to be creative. Um, and make sure you have an emergency kit and backup cosplays because you never know what's going to happen. And make sure you find your people. I mean, I know I already said that, but you got to find your people because honestly, that's what's going to keep you cosplaying. Because, like, once you find your people and the niche that you want to be in, that's going to motivate you no matter how long it's in between cons or if you're attending or not, kind of thing. Because they'll keep you motivated. They'll keep you like, hey, what are you working on right now? And I mean, and do a virtual group. Like, I'm in a couple virtual cosplay groups right now, and we're all working on, stuff that we're going to be posting in the spring. So it's like, it's fun to have like little group virtual chats, and, we check in with each other out, every now and then. It's just like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Kind of thing. So
Nice.
make sure you just find your people and enjoy the enjoy the journey and
I
make
can't
it fun.
can't argue with that. I think that should about cover it. Again, Britt, thank you for coming on for Cosplay Con Talks. Get to know that cosplayer.
Of course, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. As always, I am Wayne the Unknown. Thank you for listening to this episode of Cosplay Con Talks. Get to know that cosplayer. If you would like to know more about Britt's cosplays or any questions, links to her social media will be in the description below. So again, thank you. And as always, thank you for listening, and until next time, thank you for watching.